Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. And in this episode we're going to take a look at Apiary. So I'm going to show you how this game works. I'm going to show you a couple turns and then I'm going to tell you, of course it's going to be all solo, always. I'm going to tell you how it plays from a solo standpoint and then I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. And if you have done that, thanks so much for that support. I really appreciate it. So the game is just getting underway here. And what's going on? What's this game all about? Well, this is a worker placement game with workers that get stronger as they are used. Very similar to the mechanics, if I remember correctly, from Euphoria, which is an older Stonemaier game. And this one does the same similar thing where if your worker is bumped from a space, it will go up in value. The value can be from 1 to 4. Once it's bumped and it's at 4, it can't go up, it can't be used again. You have to park it in a spot called the landing area that can give you an opportunity to deal with the farm tiles and getting income. But also the idea is once they get to 4, your workers will basically hibernate and you'll cover up some of these spots. And this is a little area majority spot in here, which you'll get some benefits from covering them. And then you can get more workers basically from strength 1 from this grow action. So the mechanics in this game are the bumping workers situation. There's also some exploration resource generation here in these explore areas where you're going to move this queen bee around. You get the bonus when you go there and then you get some income, which I'll demonstrate in a second. There are variable cards here which you can use for instant benefits, and you can also tuck them under the board, up to 4 of them, to get some endgame scoring. So there's endgame scoring conditions here. There's also this carve spot, which is also a way to get endgame scoring points, and you're going to put these into your hive area over here on your game board. And if you fill up all these spots throughout the game, you will get 8 points, and you can get extensions over here, and if you fill those, you'll get 8 points for each of those. There's also this area here where you're going to take 3 types of tiles. The farm tiles let you get income when you do the farm, when you basically do the retrieve phase. For each bee that you have that you are retrieving from the board or from the landing area, you can activate one of your farms and get the reward up there. Like in this case, my reward would be to increase the value of one of my bees 1 more. They also work as storage, and that's really the very important part, because you have to store all the goods that you have in this game at the end of your turn, and if whatever you can't store, you have to discard, and you go up on the queen's favor track, which is a way also to get points. And then there's this area over, well, that's the farms. Then there's these recruit tiles that give you kind of ongoing player powers as you build them. And then finally these development ones, which are one-time kind of big boosts of one type of activity or another. And all of those are worth some points. You know, like I see some tiles out here that are worth 0, 2, 1. So they're worth some points to you just by playing them. You have the ability to convert resources by going to this spot. And also, if you want, you can do one of these special conversion tiles where you can do something, set something up to do a conversion here one time. So I could choose 2 different resources here. There's all the different types in this stack, and be able to change this and this to get 2 points and a card. And that might be important. That could be helpful. And so that's what you're doing. Those are the different spaces. And basically what happens is the game ends when either someone places all 7 of their hibernation tokens, or when all of these spaces are completely filled by a combination of your or the AI opponent's hibernation tokens. Once that's done, both players will get 1 more turn, and the game's over. Then you'll score all your endgame conditions for these carved tiles and for anything you played here, and basically that's how it will go. You also get points for the queen's track at the end, and any other potential things that you might have gotten for your upgrade or your faction ability and that kind of thing. And then finally, the area majorities. The person who has the most hibernation tokens in here will get 3, and the most here will get 7, and then 2 will be the second player. Okay, so let me go ahead and take a couple turns, and it is the let's see. So I've taken 1, 2 turns. He's taken 2 turns because he bumped one off. So it is his turn to go. So the AI is extremely easy to use in this game, which is appreciative. I'm glad about that. You basically flip over a card, and first you look and see, okay, this turn resolves around the yellow workers and only yellow workers. So you're not going to do anything with the gray ones. If there were 0 yellow workers on your board here, you would then retrieve them all and score 2 points. That would be your turn. Since there's not, you will do an advanced turn. You will take the highest yellow worker value and put it on the advanced area, okay? In this case, when I do that, I bump mine down, place it here, and it doesn't matter what the situation is with mine. Usually you add these together, but the AI will simply take, with the strength 1, this farm tile over here. He doesn't score the farm tile or use anything on the farm tile. At the end of the game, he will get 1 point for every farm tile, 2 points for every recruit, 3 for every instant, and 7 points for every one of these. And to get the churn going, you will always discard the other tile he didn't take. So it does help. It gets you through, the AI will get you through a decent amount of these, maybe a third to halfway of the stacks, depending on how aggressively they do that. And that's it. That's the advance. That's all you do. So now it's my turn. I have 1 worker left. And again, I want to bump either my own workers or have my workers be bumped. So to do that, the simplest thing for me to do would be to also take the advanced action. And I have some things I want to build here, so I like that. So why don't I do that? I'm going to go ahead and play my 1. It is going to bump this guy down, bump me out. My 2 will then become a 3, which I can use. I could either put it here so that I could start activating farms a little more effectively if I had a ton of farms, but I don't. So I'm going to put it here so I can use it next turn, not have to do a retrieve action. So here I have a strength of 2 combined. That means I can choose from this column and this column only. And with what I have here, I'm actually, oh shoot, you know what I realized? I needed a strength of 3 to get the tile I wanted. I can't afford that. So let me back that up here just a second. So instead of doing that, what I think I will do is I will do this explore action. It doesn't really help me with the bump, but it's what I need to do. The other thing I could do would be to bring in a guy. And I think I'm going to do that, and I'll show you why here. So I'm going to do this grow action, and I'm going to spend 1 of these to bring in my next worker over here. So I simply will get a worker. So it's like, well, why'd you do that? Well, I want to get 4 workers out here as fast as possible, and I'm hoping that he takes the grow action, and maybe he'll bump me. Okay, and so with 1 strength, the only thing I can really do is spend 1 of those, I don't know what they are, flowers or whatever, say someplace, pollen tokens, and that allowed me to get out of the pool a level 1 worker. So let's go ahead and flip him over. Oh, sweet, look at that. Didn't even plan it, got lucky. So he's going to do a grow action. Oh, no, he's not. So he's going to take his 4 and actually do a carve 3 action. That's too bad. Well, when he does a carve action, he looks at this kind of like, snake or whatever you want to call it, arrow thing that loops around and shows you which way you're supposed to do certain things. So we're going to start here at the bottom and we're going to kind of loop back and forth. Okay, so it is a grow and it says grow 3. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. He's going to take this tile and put it over there, and that's his turn. So unfortunately that didn't happen where he took the growth, which would have been nice. Didn't work, but oh well, that happens. So the other thing I do not want to bump him. I'm going to still do what I was going to do here in hopes that he will bump me next time. Now I get an explore 2. And like I said, I needed some pollen. So what I could do is I could go here 1 and just get whatever I want, which I'm going to do. So I'll do that. I'll get the pollen. I have to put it on a storage space at the end of my turn, but I'm going to put it right there. It doesn't matter. And then what you do is you reveal 1 of these planets and you pick any of the 3 basic resources to go on the planet, and then you gain that income. All right. And so I can put it on my farm. Now, if I didn't have the farm here, I wouldn't be able to fit it all in here. So I'd have to discard it and I'd get a queen's favor, which is not helpful to me. So this is sort of interesting. It's like it almost reminds you of pollinating stuff, right? you put something down there and you get what's there. And as you go, if you go back to this spot here, you'll get a water. You won't put anything on because there's no slots. But over here, if you put something there, if you go back to it later, you would then get two different things. That's kind of a cool mechanic. All right, so flipping again here, we're going to 0 on the, so it's looking for yellow. Well, there are no yellow out there. So he's going to retrieve all yellow and get 2 points. When he retrieves, he will up his workers by 1, just like you would. All right, so that goes from a 2 to or 1 to a 2 and a 3 to a 4, and then he scores 2 points. Okay, back to me now. I have no choice but to retrieve, regrettably. I was hoping to get some bumps from him to try to speed things up, but it didn't happen. So I'm going to retrieve 2, becomes a 2, becomes a 2, and becomes a 3. Now, because I have 1 farm, I'm able to activate this 1 farm here by any of these. So I'm going to change this 3 into a 4. Okay, and the 4s are powerful because they also will unlock some specific area that only works with a 4, which is cool. And I want to do that right away. I'd like to try to flip this over and see what I can do, because my power right now is to convert any 3 resources into one of these honeys. And the honeys are important because that's the only way you can afford these. I could also get the honey by doing 2 pollen and 1 water, and that might be another way to do it. Or if I wanted to, I could even set up a dance here, so I could say sacrifice 1 point and get a honey if I thought that was a value. All right, flipping this over now again, it's looking at gray. There I have 2 grays, so that doesn't satisfy the condition. It's going to go to convert. So it's going to take this number 2 gray over here, and it's going to go to the convert spot. And for 2, I would get 2 points. Or he would get 2 points, pardon me. So back to me now, and I'm going to use that number 4 to flip around. So this is what I'm going to do. We're going to try to maximize this move here. So I'm going to go here, and it says upgrade my tiles. So this is where I will flip my faction power. So you can see what it is right now. I'm going to flip it over, and now it's 2 for 1 to the honey, and that's good. I like that. So that's going to help me in my strategy trying to get some of these. And any time I can do that, well, we're going to get to that anytime in a second here, but I still have the 4. And so since there are no other guys out here, I'm going to get my 2 tiles here for my future growth. So I'm going to get that done all in one push. And I'm just going to put them right here and right here. Because frankly, it doesn't matter. Right now, it really doesn't matter where I put them because I don't have anything spatially saying I should put one thing next to another, etc. So you're kind of getting the idea and the understanding of this game, I think, from me playing these couple of turns. We're just going to do a couple more here. All right, so that says 0. Well, I have 1. So we're going to go to the grow action. And yes, I get bumps. This is good. So what will happen is this number 2 will go here. I'll do my bump in a second. He'll get the 2 points. Now he's retired. Well, he's not retired. He's hibernating. So I set him over here. And I take one of my hibernation tokens and I can put it in any of these spots. Well, I'm going to put it right here so that I can get one of those honey pots. And we have to have a spot to store the honey pot. Well, lucky for me, I have one of those right here. So now, because I have that, I am going to, oh crap, well, I'll have to bump him. But I don't want to waste the time in doing it. I think, yes, he per set per adjacent tile, including the faction tiles. That cluster could be good. Actually, with everything that I see now, instead of putting it here, I really should put it here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I can build that one over there. All right, we're going to wait on that. I hope he doesn't take it. So it comes back to me. I've got some 2s here. I'd like to try to spend some of these resources if I can to get some better stuff. So I like that genetic engineering. Whenever you trigger a farm, whenever you gain a farm, trigger its instant production. So that's kind of cool right off the bat. And since I don't have a lot of them, why don't we do that now? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that there. We're going to get 1, 2, 3, spend these, get the genetic engineer, go ahead and place it. Let's go ahead and place it right here. So I have a plan. So that'll give me 1 queen's favor. Not that helpful for what I'm doing, but that's all right. All right, so I'm going to stop right there, but you get the idea of how this goes, right? It's a pretty straightforward, very familiar Euro. I'd say definitely medium in the complexity. The AI is super easy to run, like you saw, and it has six or seven difficulty levels. Let's see. I'm playing on the 3rd difficulty level. It has 6. So I started at 2, and I came within 1 point of beating in my first game. So I feel like, okay, I can up this. So very, very, I'd say straightforward. Let me tell you fully what I think. Okay, so that's Apiary from a solo standpoint. It's a very approachable game, very easy to play. It's fun. It is not the most complex game. It's very familiar, right? I haven't seen any of these mechanics that I haven't seen already in this game. Like I said before, the whole bumping of workers and having them upgrade when they get bumped, I've seen before. The usability of things as far as not being blocked, but being able to be knocked out, that you actually want that to happen. I think that was a big part of Euphoria. And it was also, it's an enjoyable game. I like that game a lot. There's a lot of fun little wrinkles in this game with the tiles you can get and the different ways you can score. It really feels like this game took the ideas from a lot of other Stone Mayor games and other games in general and kind of built a new game around it. And that's fine. It's fun. It's easy to play. It's pretty quick. I mean, 45 minutes for sure from a solo standpoint, maybe 60 if you're really taking some time. But I had no problems at all playing it, you know, really fast because the AI is very easy to understand. It's very quick to execute, which is nice. The fact is that it's a very approachable game, and that's good. It's definitely one where you would want to play it when you feel like playing something enjoyable, but you don't necessarily want to bake your brain. Now, that being said, all that being said, if you have games with a lot of these mechanics, I don't think you'd feel that you need to feel the urge like this is going to fill a hole in my collection if you have something like that. If you don't, if you have none of those kind of games or your collection is fairly small, this could be a great addition to fit that medium weight game that's fun to play. It's got competitive solo mode, and there's some interesting fun mechanics of putting the different tiles down and different scoring things. But I would not say this is an essential game that you have to put in your catalog if you have a fairly robust one. So I'm definitely going to keep it and enjoy it for a while. Who knows how long that will be. I think that there's a lot of fun to be had here. And maybe I almost felt like when I was playing it's maybe even a little more fun than it ought to be. Just because I have seen these kinds of things intermeshed before. But I do like games where you can kind of choose how you score well with the way that you're choosing the tiles or the cards or different things like that. And that helps you to kind of craft your strategy in a different way each game. And that's always fun. I like resource generation and things. And I think they do the whole resource gathering in an interesting way, in a fun way, versus just taking a production turn. You know what I mean? So that's a nice little twist on things. For the most part, I thought that everything, you know, it was all present. Whatever you thought you'd have, there's ways to convert, there's ways to build up, there's ways to have a little bit of a factory with your farms producing things. There's cards you can take that won't take your turn, right? I didn't show you any of those research cards, but those cards, they never take a turn when you play them. You can either play them for any one random resource for the specific top of the ability, or you can tuck them under in a specific way when you can plant them. You can only plant them using a level 4 worker or some other special effect that lets you score at the end of the game. So lots of cool things here, nothing necessarily earth-shattering. So if you like the way it looks and you like these kind of games, I definitely think you should check it out. If you feel like this game is something that you've already played before in some other fashion, you don't need another one of these style of games, then hopefully I was helpful in helping you discover that. Either way, the solo mode is enjoyable, it's competitive, it's fun, I'm enjoying it, so I hope that shows you what's going on here. All right, so thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, everybody. And you know, I always hope that whatever you do in the future, you have a fantastic time doing it. Thank you, everybody.